Hello and welcome back to another video on my series regarding Ernesto Köhler's 25 Romantic Etudes, Opus 66. Today we're going to be discussing his etude number 1 in this collection, which is entitled The Swing. The first thing that comes to mind with this etude specifically is the arpeggios. The first thing that I like to do is write in where I see specific arpeggios. So in measure 5, we have a C major arpeggio, C, E, G, just broken up differently. And then 2 bars later, we have a dominant G, or a G7. Now that's the 5th of the key. So it's sometimes helpful, if you enjoy music theory like I do, to go ahead and write in some of the arpeggios that you see. This will help your brain think faster about what notes your fingers need to play when you're first learning it. Now, as for actually practicing on the flute rather than just writing it on the page, some things that can be helpful are changing the rhythm. So we can start by making dots where they may not be. So for example, we'll take measure 5 and we'll put dots on all of the odd notes of that measure. It'll sound like this. We'll do that a few more times, and then we'll flip it. And it can be a little funky at the end. That's okay, just do your best. But the point of this is to put the emphasis on different parts of the measure. That way we flip it so that every beat gets emphasis at different times. Then when we put it back together, we can play it very evenly and homogeneously. I would go ahead and do this for any arpeggios or measures that are giving you trouble in this piece. I think it's also super important to find the patterns in this piece. So at the beginning, right where I was at measure 5, that will sound familiar because it comes back again. When we get to measure 37, here it is. Same exact thing. Now this happens quite often in our literature, so it's important to try to find the form of these. It'll make it much easier for you to budget your time spent practicing these etudes if you know what parts are repetitive and what parts change things. So for example, another pattern we have starts at measure 25. Then when we get to measure 33, it starts similar and then it changes. And that last beat is where it changes. Now this threw me for a loop when I started practicing, so it's important to find the places where things change on you. They're not the same as they were the first time that we heard it. So what I would do then is go ahead and go back to the method we talked about in the last video and play it slowly. Now we don't want to use too big of a chunk. I think that's probably too big of a chunk, especially when the first 3 beats in that section are repeated earlier. So we'll go ahead and just take beat 2 of measure 34. Making sure that we're making it a tone exercise, our bodies feel nice and relaxed, and also that we're using the right articulation. Sometimes it can sneak up on us, especially when things change like it does here. Go ahead and play that several times over. I highly recommend that you use a metronome during the entire process of this, and you can speed it up in the way that we did in the last video. Once you have that specific beat solid, then go ahead and back up a beat. And I always like to add that extra note of the downbeat on for the following measure to make sure my fingers know where they're going when this is put back into context. So then we can begin expanding it, back another beat and adding the next beat on. And then do that one more time to complete the full phrase. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.